More madness.
Yeah.
I made sure to face it towards you, so
Okay.
Good. What's good? Welcome back to another episode of More Madness Podcast.
Back at your house. Cozy cast.
Back at the cabin.
Is it not cozy when we're in my studio? Is it more intense because of the lighting?
No, it's definitely more cozy in your studio.
The last episode was kind of intense. We didn't mean for it to get that dark and whatever, but I think it's good to have the rainy days. I think we talked about that. It's good to have the rainy days so you can enjoy the sunny ones like these.
I was gonna text you this week and be like, hey man, I'm gonna bring up some more deeper topics on the next podcast, and I was like, I think the last one was good. Maybe we should.
last one got real.
Yeah, like maybe we should give it an episode or two before we kind of tap back into something.
Yeah, don't depress the viewers too much.
Yeah.
in the short span of time. Let them breathe. Let them get something.
Madness Monday needs something lighthearted.
Right.
I mean, how you been though, man?
Good, busy. We did South Sounds with Tim over the weekend, and that was super dope. Also worked with Alfred Banks, who's a rapper out of New Orleans, who's super dope. Like, he's very talented, and I'm super excited to continue to work with him every time he comes to Mobile anyway. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and music and shows and all kind of other stuff that I can't really talk about yet. Like, it's not out there, but it's coming. Big things coming. That's the typical DJ thing for me to say. But yeah, so a lot of big, exciting things happening. And I'm really excited for spring and summer. And yeah, this year's going to be dope.
That's awesome, man. And you did that show on Friday, right?
Yeah, that was Downtown Mobile Music Box.
Why didn't I come to that?
Well, because it's South Sound, so it's like the local music festival. It's a 3-day music festival. I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it's just like they incorporate 2 or 3 different venues, and it's kind of like a South by Southwest type thing, or maybe like an Austin City Limits, where they just have a bunch of different venues doing a bunch of different music, and they incorporate it as one giant festival. It's like $40 a ticket, but that's like a day pass.
Yeah.
But that gets you like everywhere if you get that. So
I would have done that. That would have been awesome.
I mean, it would have been cool.
Especially when, I don't have the kiddos.
Yeah, I guess that would have been cool too. Technically it might have been an all ages show. I don't even know if it was an all ages show.
It doesn't matter. I don't take them to things like that. Unless it's like a specific concert of like an artist that me and Rowan like, I'll take him. But
cool. Random
things like that where I like to network.
Yeah.
That's not for him because he'll be trying to cut up with me, and it's like I'm not in the cut up mood, I guess. By the way, speaking of mood, today I already told you I'm flushed. Okay, I went to the racetrack last night.
You just gotta drink some water and get back to it. What do you got over there? Busch Light. Of course he has Busch Light. Why would I even think he had anything other than Busch Light? Oh, and the
wake me up and
the Rehab Monsters. Are those good? I've never had one of those before.
Give it a rip, bro. Give it a rip. It's not carbonated, which is why I like it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a tea or a juice.
Oh, that is good.
Dude, the peach one is fire.
Yeah, that's really good.
But I was in Dollar General, and I had a peach one in my hand, and I dropped it. It was the last one, dude, and it busted. It busted too. It busted too.
Did they make you pay for it?
No.
They just didn't see you.
No.
It dropped and exploded everywhere, and you're fuck. Oh,
I kicked it up under the aisle. Yeah. No, it was fine. I know the people in there. Some of them are bitches. Some of them are really nice to me.
I mean, how would you be if you worked at Dollar General? Not that Dollar General is a bad job, but
they're always busting ass in there.
Yeah,
they're always short-staffed. Every Dollar General is short-staffed.
I feel like they're probably getting underpaid, and they're dealing with some like really terrible people who go in there, and even though it's Dollar General, they're still stealing, and they're still asking for discounts and trying to get So I feel like that would be a tough job.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, overworked, underpaid, understaffed. But then again, you hit like a gym of a Dollar General, and you're like, these people are cool, man.
Yeah.
Some chill people. They must have get these people from the surf styles.
Yeah. I feel like whenever there's like an older lady working, she's only there because she just, she's retired and she doesn't have anything better to do. So she's just there and to talk to people and just whatever. Like those are cool.
Yeah.
Because then when you come up like, 50 cents short and you're like, oh no, I got to put something. She's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I got you.
She calls you baby or honey or something like that. And you're just like, it just makes your day.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like, I still got it.
she's significantly, she's like your mother's age, but she calls you baby and you're like, I got it. I'm good.
I still got it.
Still got it.
Yeah. God damn. Yeah, dude, sorry I was a little late today.
No, you're good. We're at your house, so technically I was early.
No, I think you showed up on time. You were like here right at 10.
I mean, I usually show up on time, but I mean, it's again, if it's we're at your house, so you can't be late to your own house.
I know, but I told you 10. I was like, be here at 10, and I'm rolling in out of the shower at like 10:20. Sorry. I'm sorry.
All good.
Dude, honestly, it could have been so much worse. So much worse. The race last night, oh God. Pause. Okay, so remember when I was talking to this girl that was from the Mobile area not too long ago?
Yeah.
Well, her dad's he drives a race car in Mobile. And we ended, pretty good. Well. But there's some animosity on her side. And I ran into her last night.
Oh. At the racetrack? Mm-hmm. You know how that gets.
Yeah, dude, it was awkward. And her brother was with her.
Oh,
and
no.
her brother and I were tight. Not tight, but we got, it was cool. It was kosher.
Cool,
yeah. And so it was like, I don't know. I reacted so fast that I don't even know if they even saw me.
Oh, well, I guess that's...
But, I mean, look how I look. Like, when you see me, you're like, if you see me again, you're like, I've seen that dude before.
Yeah.
Pretty
memorable
character. For sure.
Yeah.
So, and I'm self-aware of that. I know. But I just think, like, how much worse that could have been. Okay, we were on top of the haulers where the cars, the trailers that the cars get parked in.
Right.
We were standing on top of the haulers watching the race, and I just had to go down and get something to drink.
Just jumped off real quick. Ah!
Yeah, I did, and then I was walking, like, just bebopping along, and I was like, I'm going the wrong way.
Wait, no, the star's that way. North Star's that way.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Man. But it was awesome. It was 2 sets of race. It was like the late models and the supers. But the supers went for 75 laps, and the late models were supposed to go for 175. But it got fogged out. So we left early, got home at like 12. I would have gotten home at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
I was going to say, that's a late race that's a long race to be doing that late.
Well, it's out by the bypass, so it's like nobody's around.
Wow.
They don't bother nobody. They just let them race. They let them.
I guess you kind of they'd probably like have some sort of like special noise ordinance to anybody who lives in the area. If there is anybody living in that area, and they're like, look, there's a racetrack. Like right there.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, like don't expect to go to bed before, midnight on a Saturday ever.
Yeah, between the months of like February till September. every other Saturday there's a big race here. So just sign right here.
I was gonna say, imagine if they didn't tell you that though and you moved in. You're like, this is a nice community. And then every Saturday night, what the fuck is that?
What the fuck? Yeah, it's loud too, man.
So we just signed a 10-year mortgage. We're stuck here for the next 10 years. It's going to sound like this every weekend?
Yes, sir. Yep.
You'd enjoy that, though. You would enjoy that. You'd be like, sign me up. I'll live here for the rest of my life.
I already got this infield membership for the Pensacola racetrack, so I don't have to fucking buy tickets anymore. I just roll up.
Show up?
Just show up.
Nice. They definitely know your face. Mm-hmm. Like, we know this guy.
My grandfather used to race there too.
So word. Okay.
It was like, there's a small piece of lineage hanging around there, Yeah, whatever, man. Racing's fun.
Dope.
And a lot of people are like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, racing. Until they go to a race and they're like, happens all the time.
I've actually been to that racetrack before, like just with people who I used to hang out with and
It's fierce,
a
ain't it?
girl I used to date and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I remember I was like, this is gonna be so fucking lame. Like because if you haven't realized, like I'm just not the NASCAR outdoorsy type.
okay.
And that's the thing is like I was so
Well, you love soccer and basketball.
yeah.
so-
I mean I like sports, but I'm not gonna sit around on a Sunday and watch NASCAR or anything like that. Anyway, we went to the track and I was like, this is gonna be so lame, and I ended up having a great time. Like it was a lot of fun, and like I would crack jokes with people and then just make up stories and stuff.
People are fluent there.
Yeah, I was
They're
about to
cool,
say
man.
it was just fun. Like it was just
And the
a
cars.
good.
And the cars, dude, when those things crank up.
Yeah, I mean
You're
that
like-
was interesting too. That
you're
was
like,
that
damn,
was
that's
just-
loud
like,
as
wow,
fuck.
this is
That's
actually
fucking
kind of
loud.
cool.
Is that my dog out
Yeah,
there?
she's out there. She's running around.
She was inside most of yesterday, so
Okay.
I figure, I'll let her outside for a few hours.
She's just
And all the neighbors like her. She just goes and
good.
visits the neighbors
That
and
works.
like eats the cat food off their porch and pees in their yard and but she is a sweet dog.
that helps because
Yeah.
if she wasn't, then
Well, I wouldn't let her.
I'd imagine people would get kind of mad if you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna let her out and she's gonna terrorize the neighborhood.
Yeah, true that.
Does she ever go hang out with those horses that are in the back?
Oh hell no. Oh hell no, dude.
I can't blame her, honestly.
Yeah, I'm.
I feel like that would be
from
dangerous.
Alabama. I'm kind of terrified of horses.
I feel like that would be kind of dangerous.
Yeah, pass. All right, it's that time, dude.
Busch Light, not a sponsorship yet, but we're still gonna ring it on the show. Yet, I'm gonna emphasize the word yet because we're waiting.
But look, we'll put like a nice banner right here. We'll put a table here.
Perfect
with a bunch of
perfect
Busch
spot
Light,
for a banner.
Like Busch Light things right here.
Perfect spot for a banner.
Yeah.
Maybe like a cutout
And on the tag right here in the corner, we'll put Busch Light right above More Madness Podcast.
right above it. Or
Send us
we
some
get-
Busch Light trucker hats.
I think we should. I'll wear it. I'll do it. I'll wear a Busch Light trucker hat. But we should do like the More Madness podcast sponsored by Busch Light, and
Yeah,
we'll make
it'll-
like a magical graphic when it goes. Shh.
Yep, there you go, man.
And
Think about
it's-
it, guys. Think about it.
Just it's a good idea.
Consider it.
Definitely consider it.
Consider it. Yeah, I am flushed. I feel like I'm just acting and looking hungover as fuck today. Yeah. Oh,
As you drink Busch Light,
Dude, it's
I'm so hungover drinking.
it's
another Busch Light.
lunchtime and it's hair of dog, okay?
Hear the dog.
Fucking look, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably doing this right now, or I've done it
Prior.
at some point.
That's
over
how
the
you
last
ended
few
up
months.
here. That's probably the reason you ended up here in the first place.
Judge my
'cause
ass.
You were drinking some, maybe Busch Light, probably Busch Light, and maybe we've associated ourselves enough to where you probably typed in, you Googled Busch Light, and our name popped up. And then you're like, what's this?
You get tossed in the algorithm of Busch Light searches.
Could you imagine? I've started getting Busch Light ads on my Facebook
Keep it
and
going, dude.
Instagram. Like they've
it
started
going.
popping up. And I was like, I've never once searched Busch Light, but obviously we've been saying it in our videos and I tagged it a couple times. So I'm starting to get ads for it. And eventually they're going to get More Madness podcast
Yeah,
ads.
let's check these idiots out, man. Let's see what they're doing. And then now that we have wireless mics, they'll be like,
Oh yeah, we get the
They'll be
wireless
like,
mics
oh.
tomorrow.
they actually are a little professional.
Professional, and we're gonna start doing some. Now, once we get the wireless mics, which will be in tomorrow, we'll start adventuring out more, and we won't be so like locked into with these mics and wires and stuff like that. And we can start going outside. We can start going like different places. And
I thought about this in the shower earlier. Does the mics is the mics the staple to the podcast? Because if the mics go away, excuse me, and you start wearing wireless mics up under your shirt and shit, at that point, in my mind, aesthetically speaking, it goes from a podcast to a show. Like More Madness show.
let us know. What
It's
do you
like
think?
a show. Is it a podcast? Is it a show?
Yeah.
Does the mics dictate the podcast? I know, but then also you've got podcasts where people use wireless mics, but they're still like the vibe is still podcasty. It's like they're all three or both of them are facing each other, and it's like, okay, this is kind of a podcast, but if you sit towards the camera like we do, it's more like a show.
Yeah.
Is it a show or is it a podcast?
Yeah. Let us
It's a
know.
showcast.
Comment. Ooh, showcast. I like that.
Yeah.
Is this the first showcast, or are we going to start having a showcast?
The showcast will probably start with the wireless mics.
Okay, so let us know if we're going to try the wireless mics out. Let us know if you like the microphone aesthetic of everything, or once we start doing the wireless mics, if you like that better, if we sound better, or just let us know and we'll switch it up for you.
Yeah.
Or we'll keep doing the wireless mics once we switch to the wireless mics.
It could be absolute dog shit. And
that's why we're trying it out.
Yeah.
That's why we're trying it out, and we're trying to make things work, and we're learning. We're still learning.
They were affordable too. They weren't like ungodly expensive. And I needed something that like, had like the proper, like the innie outies and like everything that we already have. It can, I guess, coagulate and match what we've got. So I didn't have to buy any external wiring or anything like that. But yeah, I'm just review after review, website after website, and I was like, okay, these are the ones I'm going to get, because you don't want to buy pieces of shit.
Oh, absolutely. That's one thing I've actually found out, because I thought about getting a wireless mic just for myself, just so I'm not like talking into my phone and using that microphone or whatever.
Oh, you mean like for your TikToks?
For TikToks and Instagram and just making content.
Content.
But yeah, I thought about getting one, and they're not expensive.
Sorry if you just saw that.
I didn't. I got a glance of it,
I didn't
but
know
I didn't
that was going to be. I didn't know that was going to be there.
I got a glance of it, but I didn't see it exactly.
But also not sorry, because whatever.
Word. Anyway, back to making content.
Talk about content.
No, but wireless mics are super.
I probably would have just shown you anyway.
Affordable.
I would have just shown you anyway.
The wireless mics are super affordable now, and yeah, like I'm surprised that you can get a lot of the tech that used to be like high quality, like, oh, they've got wireless mics and they've obviously put a lot of investment. Like, yeah, you can get wireless mics for like $20 now.
Well, yeah, but they also that is true. But I feel like it's like how we move around and like move the mics, and I've seen where some people will clip them on their collar and they move, or they have a beard and it's like just punchy. It's like, golly, just get the mic back,
right.
Or do the mic thing. But these are small enough. They're like little pills.
Oh, cool.
So it's like they can clip onto anything. Like I always wear a chain, so maybe I can put it underneath my hair up here or something. And it doesn't have that. It's cool. It's like, doesn't have like it's just cool. You'll see.
I see people on TikTok who get those mics and then they hold them up to their mouth like this.
Yeah.
And it sounds terrible. Like I was like, if you would just use it like it's supposed to be and clip it and just have it down here, like it would sound
it's a sensitive mic.
Yeah, it would sound good. But they get the mics and then they like put it in their mouth while they're talking, and then they're even still yelling at you. They're like, "You're not gonna believe what we saw." Blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
just
dude,
clips like a motherfucker.
Just stop. And it just sounds terrible. And I guess that's the TikTok thing is, again, it's affordable now, so anybody can get it. Anybody can just become a content creator or a videographer, which is great. But at the same time, you have these
learn how to use your gear, man.
Right, people who don't know how to use the gear, and then they sound awful, and that still somehow.
YouTube is savage though, and so is TikTok. They'll let you know.
Oh yeah, the comment section.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
YouTube comment section that's two of the places that
it's basically just a place to be mean.
And like even TikTok, you get some people who are rude, but I feel like I can come back to those easily. Like I don't know, it's
nobody's been rude to me yet. People on my TikTok thus far have been super nice.
Blow up a little bit. Have a couple videos that do really well, and then all the haters start coming out. The trolls and the haters. But
I've got a few videos that broke 1,000. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then all the rest are like in the hundreds. So I mean, I've only had it for like 15 days.
Well, yeah. Days. I mean, that's usually what it does. TikTok will start out, you'll get like 100, 200, 300 views or something like that. And they're kind of testing the waters with your content.
Well, you told me they'll throw your videos to people who have liked your videos.
Right.
Or
yeah.
Videos like yours.
Once somebody likes your video, they're more likely to get it again because it's like, oh, well, since you like this one, you'll like this one too. and then hashtag strategies where it's like, oh, well, if you like this video with the Bush Light hashtag, then you'll like this one with the Bush Light hashtag or whatever. But yeah, so it's all about, and that's just from me doing this for so many years and learning about the algorithms and how
TikTok been around.
TikTok's been around for a while. I've only been on TikTok for like really for like a year, maybe.
But TikTok's been around for what, like 3 or 4 years?
It's been around for a long time.
Musically and then into
yeah, because it started off as Musically and then TikTok bought it or just rebranded. I don't know exactly.
I think it was a rebrand, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Who gives a shit?
I mean, yeah, because Musically was like its own thing, and now TikTok has become a whole new monster. Which, by the way, have you seen what they're trying to do, like to get TikTok banned here in the United States?
Yeah, I don't really understand why, other than like the conspiracy of like China trying to store American data or like.
Basically, what they're trying to prove is that TikTok, which is owned by a Chinese company, is like harvesting all this data.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And trying to blah, 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 blah. And the fucking dumb government people who are just grilling the Chinese CEO of TikTok of what it does. And they're like, does TikTok have to connect to your home Wi-Fi internet in order to blah, blah, blah? And he's like, yeah, like that's how internet works. He's like, so you're telling me that if it can connect to the home network, then it can connect to anything that's also connected to in my home and blah. And the CEO is like, I mean,
that's how apps work.
He's like, if you want to break it down, like anything that connects to the internet can do that. He's like, we don't do that because we are a, respectable company, like a multi-million, probably close to $1 billion company.
Highly watched company.
Like we're not going to do something stupid like that, nor do we want to harvest your data. And then there's people who does TikTok spy on its users? And he was like, well, they're like, how many kids have died from TikTok? And he's like, we don't create the trends. Like we can't tell people what to do and what not to do. He's like, if there's something dangerous that's on TikTok, we'll go on there and, remove it. He's like, but we can't go through everything. And he's like, so you're telling me you look at children's profiles on TikTok? And he's like, anybody can access anything that's public information. Like if somebody puts out something publicly, anybody on the internet can go look at it.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy what they're trying to do. Like they're trying to make, I will say this, I could give no less of a shit if TikTok gets banned. Granted, like it's a great platform, but if it gets banned, it's just one less app I have to deal with, really, and make content for. But the way they're going about trying to block it, they're trying to get it banned for stupid reasons, and then what it's going to do is leave the door open to say, oh well, if we can ban TikTok, we can ban anything that we don't like to see, or anything that goes against, anti-government, or anything that, we think is offensive, or anything that we think is dangerous. We can just block it. And so then it's going to come down to, they'll just, anything on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, they'll just be like, no, like you can't say that. And they'll just delete your shit.
Yeah, they were super hypersensitive in like 2015, 2016 on Instagram about things like that. You couldn't even put like fuck or bitch in your headline, or you can even be like, pro, that was a bitch move, LOL, or like, dude, and then you'd get a guideline slash. But you're right, that's going to open up a door for people to start like motivating other companies or other people who have heads and charge or power to make dumb ass old head decisions on a new head invention and you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Another conspiracy I've heard about it, which this one makes sense too, is they're trying to get TikTok banned because it's the only social media, like major social media, that's not owned by Meta, which Meta is the company that is Facebook and Instagram. So Meta owns Facebook and Instagram, and Instagram's like trying to compete with, they've got Instagram Reels, they're trying to compete with TikTok. They're trying to get TikTok banned because so many people own stock in Meta that they're trying to get rid of the competition, and basically so they can make more money off of it.
Get rid of the competition.
Yeah.
That's pretty much their approach.
And so that's another thing I saw, and it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if that's actually their end goal, but I mean, it's obvious they're more concerned about their well-being than the actual like well-being of the people.
Okay, yeah, the consumer.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking wild, man. To even think that Instagram has made it this far, and because of something else, like an outside app, it's shedding light on what's already pre-existed. Kind of like with the whole Facebook thing and storing data, whatever, that whole Mark Zuckerberg shit, that problem that he was having where he was on trial and shit, basically.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, is like, and that's why they rebranded to Meta.
Yeah.
Is because they didn't want that Facebook thing anymore.
Yeah.
And then now that he did that and everybody bought stock in Meta, they're going after TikTok. But yeah, it's the exact same thing that they were on when Zuckerberg was on trial.
I don't understand why there's not some sort of like premeditated plan for things like this now. The internet has been a source of communication for like businesses all the way down to like weirdos and everything in between. Like there should be some sort of like block plan in place for like social media and stuff like that. So everybody's got to abide by it, kind of like the law. Kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like if you design an app, A through H, you have to abide by in order for your app to be launched. You know, no one under 16 or you have to set rules in place.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a thing.
No. And I mean, there's a little bit of guidelines and stuff like that. But again, like you were saying earlier, it's old heads who are trying to like keep up with this new technology, and it's all developing so fast and stuff
and no
like that.
offense, but a lot of them don't understand.
No, that's exactly what it is. They have no idea what this is or what's going on.
Not that they couldn't. They just choose not to.
Yeah, they are more worried about making money the old-fashioned way and lining their pockets, and not trying to actually like understand what this new technology is and help
It's
it.
a job for some people.
Yeah, help it grow and like do it safely, but actually like let it be a thing. They're just trying to shut it down because they don't understand.
Because they don't understand it.
Right.
Yeah, they could honestly lean into it and probably use it for good in a way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, I heard was Jordan Peterson on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said something about, you know, a lot of these things that have become problems since the computer has been a part of our society. Older generations will point fingers at people like that simply because they don't understand, simply because they don't get it and it's new. And he's like, where we go wrong as like a species in humanity is that we started this development of technology to go places and go further. Somewhere along the lines, misunderstanding or not understanding has ruined things like that. If you were to lean into it, look at it for its betterment, for, sounds cheesy, but like mankind, little things like this, little trivial things about like, oh, well, like, you know, you said like you really go on to children's profile, like that won't even be a thing in court to be filmed, because everybody will be using social media and the internet for the better.
Yeah,
you know, like taking it. Or I mean, I identify with that. He's like, people are missing the point with like humans are forward moving, and so many people are like stopping the progress of our species because of personal misunderstanding.
Oh, absolutely.
I know that probably went a little that way, but
no, it makes sense. I hope it made sense to you, because I definitely get it. I get exactly what you're saying. And I saw something where it's like, people always blame the new technology, but this has been going on for like ever. Oh, yeah. And they're talking about how back when the newspaper first started like mass printing newspapers and stuff like that, and everybody would have a newspaper in their hand every morning. And they're like, oh, people are so distracted by reading the newspaper that they're not like, you know, in the, or like they're
living in the moment.
They're not active in their like communities because they're so busy reading the newspaper and stuff like that.
Can you imagine?
And like then magazines came out, and they're like, why are you reading a magazine? Like you're so worried about
live in the moment.
Yeah, like whatever, blah blah blah. And then, you know, like radio and TV, and people were like, oh well, is like, why don't you just read a book instead of listening to the radio or watching TV? So it's always the new technology and the people who are like resistant to the new
Quit
stuff.
reading books, quit living in those stories, and get out and live your life.
Right, exactly. And now you would tell your kids, go read a book. And back in the day, people would be like, books are the devil.
Right.
No.
But like I guess that's, again, leaning into something for the betterment. Books clearly hold information and knowledge, so we consume them. And then that to like sonic things like the radio, like you said, for the betterment of things. I don't know, people, and I'm not speaking on behalf of like everybody. I know there's a lot of older people that are in my family that love TikTok and Instagram and things like that, and they get it. But I mean, if you got a problem with it, just set a fucking guideline. Like, set a rule to it. Okay, cars, dangerous as fuck. So we set speed limits.
Exactly.
Stop signs, rules to abide by so nobody dies or the least amount of people die on the road. Same thing with social, any sort of social media or the internet for that matter. Because like the dark web's a fucking crazy ass fucking place.
Yeah.
And just like have that, get rid of things like, I'm going to get some shade for this. Get rid of things like NordVPN or like the VPN shit. So people can't say they're over here or over.
Right.
Like, just set fucking rules. That may not be the way to go. You may not need to get rid of something like that to.
I know what you mean though. Like, don't make it so accessible
to do wrong,
to break the internet.
Yeah.
Like, because I know some people who use that. I know some people who use that for good, but there's plenty of people who use it for bad.
My point exactly.
Exactly.
See, that just shows like my naivety on it. Like, you could even use something that like somebody who doesn't know shit about shit like that. With the comment I just made, right there, you just changed my mind. Like, it's like, okay, there's a way to use it for good. Okay, so there's a way to use it for good. So maybe,
I feel like there's a way to use everything for good and bad. And that's where the regulations maybe need to come in or something. I don't know. But it's definitely a new territory that needs to be not controlled, but like regulated in some way. So where it's not so easily accessible to the bad people. And there is.
So when you're 5 years down the road, living your fucking life on your yacht because you developed this badass app and sold it for a shit ton of money and you're just living great. And then all of a sudden, Jerry dipshit in fucking Ohio doesn't like TikTok and wants to start a fucking twister about some bullshit that don't even really fucking matter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's kind of what happened with crypto. I don't know if the crypto kind of like had its moment, and then now that the government stepped in, they're like, yeah, we're gonna tax crypto and like blah blah blah.
Make
blah,
it hard to access.
Yeah, everyone's like, no, we're not doing crypto anymore. The whole point of crypto was to not
back out.
The whole point was to be unregulated by the government, and now that the government wants to like work on it and stuff like that, I dipped my toe in crypto for a little while during the pandemic, and I just I made a little bit of money, and I was like, okay, cool, and then I got out. And I'm glad I got out when I did, because now they're like, yeah, well, you got to tax it and you got to claim it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nope. I was like, the whole point was to not have any kind of government regulation. And now they're trying to, it's like just making it, it's like just use regular US dollars at that point. Like crypto doesn't even make sense to use anymore if it's going to be regulated.
I did crypto for a little bit, and I made just enough back to pay for like the websites that I had to use to hold my investments. So it was like literally I just paid to play.
Yeah.
But I
made a little bit more than that.
Well, I mean, it was like a few $100, but like it's a game. Like, you can't just go get crypto if you don't have like money to play.
Money. Yeah. It is kind of pay to play, but it's a whole nother thing.
It is. Hey, so first off, well, let's address what you just saw earlier. Okay. So talking to somebody, and it's been a few days. I was like, hey, miss you. And then
is that all you had to say?
I was just like, I was like, well, I'm trying to be. I feel like I exposed myself on this podcast.
Not saying that wasn't cordial. That maybe you did miss them, but
I was like, miss you, mama. Like, and then that was the response.
Wow,
we're close.
I mean, I can tell.
Close.
Obviously, yeah.
It's not just like a So I didn't know. That's not a normal thing for me being a dad because I'm a dad.
Feels.
Yeah. So.
Can we take a break so I can refill my water?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's do a break. Cool. All right, do the clap. And. Dude, that's awesome. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, it was super. Hey, can I sit down? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's cool. She's cool. I just want to make sure I didn't sit on top of her. Yeah.
Anyways. Welcome back. Ellie. Chill.
She's good. Shoe check.
Oh, dude, we haven't done that yet. We have to do that. All right, shoe check.
You said you'd worn those before, but I don't remember them.
Yeah, I wore them to your house.
Oh, okay.
Shoe check. Show me yours.
You wore the yellow Vans before. I don't remember those ones.
I wore the yellow Vans here at this.
You wore the yellow Vans here. I just don't remember those Vans.
I wore these episode 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still dope. Still very dope shoes.
Thanks, man.
I've got the Nike. These are the React Air Force Ones, the white on white Air Force Ones with the Nike React technology in them. These are probably the most comfortable pair of shoes I own. They've got like this insole that.
Are they crept?
What?
Crepe? Did you crepe them?
What does that mean?
Like the purple bottle?
Oh, you mean like where it's like.
Yeah, the coat.
I know what you're talking about now. I didn't know it was called crept, but no, these aren't. I need to clean them and put like the water resistant stuff on them because these do have some marks on them that I would love to get off. But no, the Nike Air Force One Reacts, I think these might be called like white ice or something like that. These are the most comfortable pair of shoes I own. And we were talking about this earlier. I love wearing white shoes, and at the same time, I hate wearing white shoes because if they get dirty or scuffed,
they're trash.
I am like have to leave what I'm doing immediately and go home and clean them. And that's just the way I am, and it's.
So what do you do whenever they get too dirty? Do you just throw them away?
I don't let them get too dirty. If they get dirty and I go home and clean them, and if for some reason I can't clean whatever's stained or marked or something on there, then I'm just like, well, I guess that's just what happens to these shoes now. And then they'll get dirty. Like the Delta 2s I wore before, those ones are white, but they've got the blue and the black and the tan.
So it's a little different.
It's a little bit different. The all white ones, I'm very like self-aware of what happens to them at all times. And so therefore I love wearing them, but I hate wearing them at the same time because I am so worried about getting them dirty that I can't enjoy myself.
My argument is that I think a white shoe with like a good layer of must over it is good. Like get them real good and dirty, and then give them one good wash, and whatever's left on it is the best. Like
you see this though?
A slightly dirty shoe. Yeah, that is cool.
It's got the holographic tongue on it.
By the way, my dog has joined us.
Yeah,
Elanor has joined us.
You may have seen her before she laid down. I don't want to disturb her now though because she's laying here, but you'll see her pop up in a minute.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes. She's like, thank you so much. She's like, you should come over more often. This is so nice.
Yeah, she acts like she don't get no love.
I don't get any attention here.
Quit. Anyway. So so back to the crypto talk. So you think crypto was just straight up a fad?
Yeah. I definitely think that that's where everybody who made a ton of money off of it, they made money because they invested early, and then when it did get so big, they just cashed out real quick and made some money, and now I just don't think it's not as popular as it was. And I think the hype has died down, and it's not worth as much as it was in the past.
In your opinion, though, also to that, do you think that the people who like have disposable money, do you think that they're still involved in crypto, and like how?
Maybe so. I think some people still have that.
It's a big top end to it for them, where for people like us that are middle class, it's like we're kind of out of
Oh, yeah. No, I feel like if you can invest a lot into it, like if you can spend, a couple thousand, even $100,000 or so dollars on investing in crypto, that maybe it'll eventually grow a little bit more, and then you can like double or triple your money. But like for us, we only have a couple $100 to put into it. I don't think it's going to have that big of a return on your investment anymore.
Not like it did last year.
No, like not like when
even last year before last, honestly.
Yeah.
All last year it was kind of dead. I heard nothing about it. Right?
Yeah, no, it I think after 2020, like so many people got into it that even that's probably when the government kind of stepped in and was like, "Hey, what's this whole crypto thing everybody's talking about?"
Yeah, and
just
ruined all the fun. Fucking TikTok, and not even focus on the fact that people are making up their own currency.
Yeah, the government came in and ruined all the fun for everybody.
Jesus, you see where their fucking aim is at?
Constantly, that's a constant problem.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I feel like since I ate a little bit more food, I'm a little bit more alive now.
Good. Yeah, the Wahlburger pickle that you just gave me. If you like even if you don't like pickles, you'll love the Wahlburger pickles.
That's good.
Jeez, he asked me if I wanted to try a dill pickle, and I was like, it's a pickle, whatever. And I had it
for him.
And I ate the Wahlburger pickle, and it was amazing. Like it changed my view on pickles, and if I ever see the Wahlburger pickle in the store, I'm gonna buy a jar.
Yeah,
because they were fantastic.
They're the shit, man.
Also, a potential sponsor, Mark, if you're watching.
Touche.
It could.
Yeah.
Wahlburgers.
Right there. Just. Oh my God. Wahlburger, pickles, and Busch Light. Another tag at the bottom.
What a combination. Right. That would be an incredible sponsorship combination.
My favorite snack. Right here at the bottom, until we get the sponsor, it'll say not sponsored by Busch Light. Yeah. The More Madness.
Soon to be sponsored by.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We'll just cycle through the different names that could possibly sponsor us. And throughout the episode, it'll say, Court or Busch. Oh, no! I almost said the bad one.
That's okay.
Busch Light, Wahlburgers, dude, and all the other ones that could potentially be there.
Yeah, the competitors.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little off on this podcast. I feel like I worked 52 hours this week.
Wow, it's a grind.
That was a grind.
That's tough.
And then, the situation we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. And so that's taking up some of my time. Yeah. I've only fished once this week.
What?
Just once, man.
That's still one more than I have.
Oh, well. Yeah. I did catch a 5-pounder yesterday.
Did you post that on your story? Mm-hmm. I did see that. I saw that.
That was awesome, dude. Yeah. It was really cool because I got the pond, the way the hydrilla is reacting to the weather. It's all settled into the ground, so the water's real clear. And I saw her just swim up. And typically, like when you make like a cast that close, it'll startle them and they'll swim off. But I was using this white 6-inch worm, and it's a real thicker one. It's a Guggen. It's called a Guggen lunker log, and it looks like a mini log. I just Hail Married it right in front of her, and I watched her pick it up and swim off with it. And I set the hook and I jerked it right out of her mouth, and I was like, fuck, well, it's gone.
Yeah.
She came right back. And I was like, oh shit, round 2. So I flipped it, watched her grab it, took off the other way, set the hook so hard that I jerked her ass backwards and saw her belly. And the water's real clear.
I was about to say, it's got to be clear if you're getting this much detail with just seeing all this happening.
Dude, it was incredible.
That's crazy.
Ripped it out of her mouth again. Okay, so number 3.
You're not very good at this.
No, well, I'm using a 5/0 hook, so it's like probably the biggest elbow hook I've got for freshwater. Because I know these slaunches are in this pond, so I'm not going to use some weak ass bitch 2 or 3/0 hook. I'm going to use a nice 5/0
weak ass hook.
And it's like, I don't know. I think it was just a dull hook, to be honest, because it was already on my rig before I threw it. Anyway, so it's been used before. Anyway, threw it again. She got it. I let her like swim off with it. Set the hook real fucking hard. Got her. Dude, it was awesome. It was like a play-by-play. And I'm out there by myself and I'm thinking, like, if I had described this to somebody...
No one would believe you. They'd be like, oh, this is just another big
fish tale.
Big fish story.
Dude, but it was so cool how it happened. I guess typically because the pond is so murky that I don't get to watch the action go down.
Yeah, to see that happening, the water had to have been super clear.
So cool. And it was real shallow, but they're bedding. So it was an easy kill as long as I was chill. You know what I mean? It was cool, man.
It's a bar. Easy kill as long as I'm chill.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
I thought about that. I thought about that. I wasn't going to say anything. I thought
song
about
lyrics right there. We got it. That's the name of it's either a song or a bar.
Yeah, we're poisoned by music.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
I'll say something or I'll think something randomly and I'll be like, that's a fucking, just turn it into a song lyric, write it in my phone real quick.
Sonic disease.
Voice notes.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. Dude, I'm so pumped for the episode that's going to come out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's 3. I told you 3 and 4 have been my favorite cast thus far. Last cast and the cast before that.
Yeah.
The clips you're gonna get.
Oh, the clips. The first 2. The first episode.
That's still our first best clip.
No, I agree. Like I was going through and just clipping those, and I realized how many clips I got, and I was like, oh wow. I was like, I got a lot from that one. Episode 2. I had to stop myself because there were so many good clips that I got, and I made so many, and then I had to go through and like weed out which ones that were like the best ones because I didn't have enough days to post them all. So yeah, no, we hope you're enjoying this podcast as much as we are because it's been fun making this and coming up with everything that we talk about and giving it to you in small bite-sized pieces, and then even the long form stuff has just been a lot of fun. So hopefully that's conveying through everything here and on wherever you're watching this right now.
And share it. Like if you choose to not subscribe or just share it.
And or subscribe and or share. We would appreciate all of it, but whatever you feel comfortable with, we appreciate.
True that.
The more the merrier. The bigger a family community we can build, then the more fun this is going to be.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And I feel like we're not like the run-of-the-mill podcast. I've seen a lot of local podcasts between Mobile, Pensacola, and like Montgomery. Like people like within our social circle or in the realm, and they're good. But I feel like they're just a mirror image of what's going on nowadays. And maybe I may be, missing the mark on what people want to consume. But I like body language. I wanted to have something a smidge different. That's why I like Theo so much. He's always shooting somewhere different from a different angle. You never know if it's going to be an up podcast or a down podcast, or if he's like, there's so many times where like you hear him embarrass himself and you're like, Theo.
It's just real though.
But it's real. It's like he's like literally he has moments where like in the middle of something serious, he'll reference something funny from 30 minutes ago in the podcast. And it's like, dude, did you just break the sincerity with some stupid shit? So not just the content, but like the angles and small little bite-sized edits. If people really make it through the visual podcast from beginning to end, you'll notice that there's a lot of really intentional goofy like edits, to segue the two parts, because that's kind of what we are. We're a 2-part podcast.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Like, break in between. And it's, a time to show yourself creatively a little bit too. I dig that.
I've realized since we've started this, I've been listening to more podcasts. Like I used to watch and listen to podcasts just on occasion. Like I had a few that I would stuff and whatever. Ever since we started doing this, I've started listening to more just like in the car, driving around and stuff like that. I listened to one on the way here from Spotify. They have their own like making it, I think is what they called it, or like how they made it or something, whatever the Spotify podcast is. But I was just listening to people just talk is just kind of fun instead of listening to music and
it is.
Being so involved, I guess, in that. Just listening to people talk and then even the Neil Brennan one that I was telling you about.
That's a great podcast.
That's a great podcast. And I love hearing people talk about like their stories of like stuff that they think kind of like fuck them up from a young age or just that still messes with their head now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of relatable because you're like, yeah, I've been through that too. And yeah, it's more easily consumable in like different settings than like just trying to listen to music and like discover new music all the time.
Because sometimes that can be work.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
When your mind is not on for the day, when you have other things to do, like daddying or husbanding or working, it's like it's nice to just hear someone else. It's soothing in its own weird way. And I think a lot of it has to do with mic quality, like the way it's delivered. Because this week I listened to Hawk vs. Wolf, which is Tony Hawk's podcast.
Oh, cool.
And I still have that Hawk book right there. I got that in 6th grade. Still got it.
What?
Yeah. And that big skateboarder in Rowan's room, that big toy, it's Tony Hawk.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a big Tony Hawk fan. And I always have been.
I was going to say, as a skater, I feel like he's just the number one person to look up to.
Well, it was easy when I was a kid because I was an 80s baby, so I grew up through the 90s and like watching him compete in the X Games, and then like he was like the only one that was ever talked shit about in magazines, it was like because this new edge of skateboarding was coming in that was like the street scene, but then vert had its own lane of athleticism that appealed to more athletes, where the street skating was more to the alternative crowd. And so I got the best of both worlds because of the music. So idolizing him, and then Jamie Thomas and Andrew Reynolds, I had my street skaters and then my one vert skater. I didn't know at the time that he was going to be, like everyone knew at the time he was already like, he was the Birdman. He was the big dick on campus, but at the same time, that was just starting when I was a kid and watching him, so.
It was also probably before like going viral and being like.
I remember wearing Tony Hawk shit and having Tony Hawk shit and buying decks and gear by Birdhouse years before he pulled off the 900. And that was in 99. That's when his career was like, okay, now he's basically like an Olympian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, I say all that to say the Wolf part of the Hawk versus Wolf is Jason Ellis. And Jason Ellis was always a guy, he's Australian. He's an Aussie. He's heavily tattooed. Like his face is tattooed, his whole head's tattooed. He's tattooed everywhere, and it's like a yin and yang thing. Because Jason's more like me, like fuck that guy, and then Tony's like, well,
you're him with a Monroeville accent.
Montgomery accent. That is literally the dynamic. You're more like, well, calm down, Ty. Hang on a minute. But they got close, I guess, because when Jason stopped skating, he would do the commentating for most of Tony's competitions. So they always stayed tight, and I guess they're the same. They're roughly the same age. So like the things that they talk about, it's like hearing You
Big stretch.
It's like hearing like our musical community like have a conversation. They're talking about things that I used to watch. They're talking about brands that I used to buy. They're talking about like experiences that Ellie, chill, that I go through. So it's not just a skating podcast. It's like a life podcast.
Yeah.
This week, that's been my fucking podcast. That has brought me so much like peace this week with working so much overtime. It's been like the thing that I don't know, like we were talking about, like the soothing.
Yeah.
It's been the soothe.
It's
the soothe.
I don't know the word for it, but I know what you're saying. Like it's been your peace.
It's been my peace.
It's been your go-to for relaxation rather than trying to like listen to music and discover music and analyze. Because I catch myself doing that too. Like you'll hear something and you can't passively listen to music because you're so busy analyzing it.
If you're a musical creator, that is so true.
I feel like that happens a lot.
So true. So fucking true.
Okay, so I did have this thought while I was listening to the Spotify podcast I was talking about. She called it, she said, "Welcome to the pod."
Mm-hmm. I say pod all the time.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I say pod all the time. My mom references, she's like, "Are you shooting a pod this weekend?"
A pod.
Pod, yeah.
Like, and I know we call stuff like casts and stuff like that too, and we're again referring to the podcast. I don't know how I felt about that.
You don't like the pod?
I don't like pod.
Oh God. You don't like the pod?
Is it still connected? I just felt, I don't know. It felt weird. And maybe it was just the way that she said it. Like, welcome to the pod.
I say pod all the time.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. There's some words that I don't feel like should be shortened or abbreviated, or it just sounds weird when it is shortened. Like when someone compliments my tats.
Okay, that's a whole
It's just that's how I heard it, and
you're like,
if you compliment my tats, I appreciate the compliment, but just say tattoos. It's okay, or your artwork or something like that. But like when someone says, "Hey, bro, nice tats," I'm just like, "Cool, thanks."
I think it's a niche thing because it's like you have to say. To me, because I like hung around tattoo shops for a little while when I was younger, I feel like you could say, "Oh, nice tatties," but you have to emphasize like especially if you have a lot and it's like, "Oh, okay, they're clearly giving me a compliment," also while throwing some humor in it because the word tatties is kind of silly.
Yeah,
but the tats thing, it's like definitive. It's like, "Oh, cool tats, bro.
Nice tats, bro."
But then sometimes people who have tattoos say that, and it's like they don't even get it.
Well, and see, that's the thing is like, technically, there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to say tats, fine. Yeah. It personally though, I would rather you just say tattoos or hey, I like your artwork or something like that.
Yeah,
you've got some nice work done. I can tell. Whatever.
Yeah. I get that.
I especially like
it's a little cringy.
Like older people too. Like they'll try and be cool and say like, "Hey, I like your tats," and I'm just like,
I just give it to them.
Don't say it. No, and that's the thing is like I don't say like shut the fuck up. I would never say, "Hey, don't say that anymore." That sounds weird. But like. I accept it. I appreciate the compliment, but it's just one of those words that's just like
pod. So don't call it the pod.
That was the first time I'd ever heard it called a pod because we call it,
the cast,
whatever cast, and
we're always like woods cast, roof cast,
woods cast, roof cast, warm cast, cold cast, dark cast, whatever.
We get festive,
and I feel like that's okay.
Ellie,
here's Ellie, by the way. She's fine. She's okay. She's part of the podcast. I knew she'd pop up.
This is the Dogcast.
Dogcast? Well, what did we call it earlier? We called it something. No.
God damn. We'll have to showcast.
Showcast. We'll have to review the tape and showcast. Dog showcast. Fuck yeah, there it is.
Dog showcast.
Anyway, so cast is fine. Pod is questionable.
Are we shooting next week?
No, next week's Easter. Remember, that's why we're shooting this week because we thought this week was Easter.
That's right,
and we weren't, and we were gonna shoot next week instead. But
so I have to sit and look at these wireless mics for a whole 2 weeks.
I mean, you can play with them. You can shoot your own mini cast.
What are you? Well, I mean, I still got the Body Language podcast, but I just rebooted it, so it's not. That's just like my late night. I've had a few beers. I got something on my mind.
By the time this episode comes out, though, I'm sure there'll be a few.
Just two. Just one solo and then one with Derek. Me and Derek were going to start our own podcast, but I thought that would be too much for not only him because his Jeep's in the shop and it's going to be in the shop for a while. On top of, like, I save all my content nuggets when I can come up with them and my mind's not scatterbrained for this podcast. And the Body Language podcast, I've been doing it for so long that it's just like shit talk. So I was like, no, it's too many podcasts. And that's too many, like that's like how Theo did it. Like this past weekend, King of the Sting and The Fighter and the Kid. So it was just like, but then he gets paid to do it. That's his fucking job.
About to say, if I got paid to do it, I'd do as many podcasts as I wanted
Dude,
to.
can you imagine how beautiful of a life that would be? It would be like being a record producer or being a guy that does like studio musician work.
Oh yeah.
Like just like studio session, like just like, oh, I'm here today and then I'm there next week. Like,
that's what I was talking about, like going on tour and stuff like that. Like even if I don't make it as like a touring DJ artist type thing, I still think it would be cool to go to different studios and work in studios as a producer. And
that would be
and
sick.
even if it ends up me just being like, writing with or writing for like artists, like rappers and other artists and stuff like that, I still think that would be great to just travel and get to do music full time.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's probably like a new thing that we don't see coming, like tours for producers.
That would be cool.
Clearly, you don't have a crowd or anything like that. Well, I mean, I guess technically that's what DJs are nowadays that most people like. They're not the world's best DJs. They are just the current best producers or have had the best luck with it, So, and then they learn how to DJ. It's kind of like if a person writes a great song and doesn't play guitar well, and it hits a lick, they learn how to play guitar a little better before they, so. But maybe that's a thing, like touring producers, like, hey, I'm going to be at this studio for this amount of time. If y'all all have something that y'all want to do and collaborate with.
Tattoo artists do that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, they rent a booth and they pass the booth out to somebody who's cooler than them.
Exactly. Like,
be out of town.
I mean, they are notable for their work, so when they go to different cities, they have people who follow them, and so it could be a similar thing. That would be cool.
That was like an old crew thing for me. Like when I was a part of the DKC, I got to meet a lot of other members in that tattoo community by doing that. I had a buddy named Nate that I was real close with for many years, and I want to say his car broke down like right before he was supposed to go do a guest spot in Fort Walton when we lived in Montgomery. And I was like, dude, and I was in between jobs because Rowan was born and they wanted what they wanted to what I could give them clash. So I was in between jobs. It just lined up perfectly.
Wow.
So I took him to Fort Walton and met a bunch of people the day before they went to Inktoberfest and Biloxi. And so I was thrown in this current of tattoo.
That's cool.
And I didn't know that at the time. Like, people do that. People are fucking like sharing booths. And that's cool. It's like a little tour, man. Like, that is cool. I got to see something that I never really got to experience before being a tattoo guy.
When I first started following my favorite tattoo shop, which is Belle Rose in Daphne.
AJ and Sean.
Yeah. I got Billy did all this arm, and then what's this guy's name?
Oh, maybe.
I can't remember his name right now. Whoever did that, and then he did that arm. But anyway, so I just started following the shop, and so I was just keeping up to date with them, and then I saw them start doing that, like, hey, so-and-so's coming from this city or whatever, like, he'll be here for a week, go ahead and book your appointments, or he'll be here for the weekend, book your appointments, blah, blah, blah. And so I started realizing that was a thing that they would do, and I was like, that's really cool to because every artist there has their own style already.
Well, that's what they try to do. Each booth has like a specific style.
Right, exactly.
Traditional photorealism. And shit like that.
So to bring somebody in who does something different, but also has a talented following, or he's talented enough to have a following, that I just thought that was super cool that they would bring that kind of stuff in.
Well, it's a good point when you said it's kind of like a tour. because from the producer aspect, that's literally what you could do. Like if there's like, what? Not right now. I know.
She says, I know you understand me.
Yeah, look, first off, don't interrupt me. I know what you're. I get it, but he's here now, so just enjoy.
She says, "What about
now.
you? What about you? Can you help me?"
Anyway, but like producer standpoint, like for instance, like Dolphin Sound, it's a pretty popular thing.
Yeah.
So if like they were like, hey, like Dr. Fresh is coming into town for 4 days. If you work on house music and want to book something with Dr. Fresh, you could pay $500 and come in and cut a track with him for a day.
That would be cool.
You know what I'm saying? Or like
amazing.
something that's affordable, but not an artist that's like where you'd have people like banging on the windows.
I was about to say like Pharrell or
you'd have people lined up.
Yeah, no, there'd be no way.
Fucking street codes up.
If you could afford to get in, that would be ridiculous. But then there would be so many people just waiting outside and banging on the windows and stuff like that. That would be absolutely ridiculous. But it's still a great idea if you could figure out a way to get him in there without. Pharrell could probably teleport. I feel like he's just that magical of a person. He could probably just teleport from wherever he was at into the building, and you'd be like, "How'd he get here?" And he'd be like, "He's Pharrell. He can do that."
Well, he just helicopters in whenever he needs to.
No, teleport. Literally just not helicopter. Just,
okay, well, I thought we were being like realistically metaphorical.
No, I wouldn't put it past Pharrell to teleport or just materialize into a place. Big Pharrell fan.
I love Pharrell.
I love Pharrell.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm texting.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
I should probably make sure that.
I haven't texted really this whole podcast, which is, whatever. By the way, speaking of, like last time, I thought it was pretty funny. Content inception.
Oh, are we incepting content again? Wait, should I do it to you? Here, we can do this, and then we'll put like a 3-way thing on the. No, wait, no. Here, like this.
And action.
Okay, so now talk about content inception.
Yeah.
We're creating content of each other, creating content while creating content for you, creating content about the content that we're creating for you.
Yeah.
This is like some 4D content inception right now.
What if we could clip all these?
No, I'm going to. I'm going to put all this together and splice it all together of everything going on right now, and it's gonna break the internet.
Yeah, I think so.
Break the internet 2023 from the More Madness podcast. Incepting content of Inception. Flipping the camera so we can do it this way. This is going to break the internet.
Yeah, it's going to break the internet.
Break the internet.
The servers are not going to know what to do with all this data.
Nice.
Dude, okay, so this is a Dogcast / hungover cast, and I told you last time I'm going to stop being hungover for our podcast, and I am sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you. Hey, there was a race last night. I get it. We'll get there.
I'm a neck sometimes, man. I can't help it. It just comes out. I just fly away when I hear the sound.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Just like
it'd be different. It'd be different if you were like you couldn't even form a sentence or something like that,
dude.
Like you're just.
I'm not gonna.
And I'd be like, we're gonna have to reschedule. We're gonna have to.
I would never do you like that.
We're gonna have to change this to. No, dude, we can fucking.
I would never.
I was like, I'm not gonna be the only one talking on the podcast all day.
Like, I'm sorry, man. I would never do that to myself or you. I promise.
I'd be like, we'll see you next time in the morning.
It's like that 3-minute episode.
Yeah. It wouldn't even be 3 minutes. Yeah, just me sitting here and you crying.
Episode 5.5.
Ty's just and me just here.
Okay,
like,
but
I'm not going to be the only one. We'll see you next time. This is ridiculous.
Fair. Episode 3. I was barely hanging on, man. Barely hanging on.
To be fair, you heard me in episode 2 where I barely had a voice.
Yeah.
Like I came in and started and it was okay. It was a little raspy, but as the episode went on, like my voice just disappeared and I thought I was getting better and then it was just bad. And yeah, it was so bad that the captions, you know how it does auto captions on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, it couldn't even pick it up. It was thinking that I was saying words that were just completely different, and so I was having to go through and fix it, or I was just like, fuck it, I guess it's not having captions and no one's gonna understand what I'm saying, because the captions couldn't even understand what I was saying. I was so bad.
Funny.
It was,
isn't that funny how like sometimes it'll do that, it'll misspell shit and you're like, you know what, AI, get it the fucking together.
You should know.
Sorry, Ellie, I didn't mean to take that out on you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We should have her every time we shoot here. She should be the mascot. She loves you. She loves you.
You should come here more often.
He's a good girl. Yes, good dog, dude. I feel like we've had no topics on this podcast.
This has been a
topicless podcast.
Topicless gibberish cast.
Yeah, gibberish cast. There's been so many different types of casts.
Yeah, we got a few different names for this one.
We got the mics right this time, so it's gonna sound much better.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, we're still learning, still getting this down packed.
This is episode 5.
Yeah.
So we're still new. We're newbie. We're infants.
By 10, we're gonna be professionals.
Oh yeah,
absolutely professionals. Hopefully, we have a sponsorship by then,
dude. You know, I was thinking that, we should probably talk about that off camera.
Okay.
But I have a sponsor in mind that we should reach out to.
We'll discuss and reach out. And then once
right?
Well,
I was thinking, like we know some people that own some businesses and maybe we can. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Word.
All I'm saying. I'm just saying. What's our time right now?
I don't know.
Why don't we do a timer?
Did we have a timer?
Damn, dude, we've done pretty good actually. We're at an hour and 10. It's like our normal thing. Yeah, I've noticed that. Like ours is so consistent without even trying.
Yeah, no, we can do a solid hour.
Yeah, without fail.
And it's just us talking and talking to you and talking to each other, and
because we're creative, mates.
Yeah, we're creative and
creatively in love.
We're friends. We're friends, so it's easy to talk to, and I'm not getting paid to talk to him, so I'm doing this on my own accord.
Oh my god, dude, fucking crazy. Hey, next time you do a showcase like that when I don't have the kiddos, let me know, because like Friday was great for me this week. It was a really nice night, but I will say I love Tim. Great guy. You're a great guy. I would love to come out and support for things like that, because I'll bring me, Ellie, boundaries, Derek, me, and maybe his cousin Ellis will come out and we'll fucking support, dude.
Hell yeah.
You know?
And we didn't have a lot of promo material for this one, so it was just kind of like we got put on the show, and then it was just like we're doing it. And
oh, you're not talking about his OG show. You're talking about the one that came out with that stack fly.
Yeah, that was South Sounds. South Sounds was this past weekend.
I did see that. I shared that on my Facebook.
Yeah, and then the OG one was the It's a Dope Ass Show, which is the
another dope ass show. That's right.
Yeah. That one we did the week before.
That's such a cool name for a gig.
Yeah, no, that's Tim's thing.
Another dope ass show.
He put that all together, and every It's a Dope Ass Show is a dope ass show.
He's fucking, and his style is, I love.
Oh yeah,
Tim's old shit.
Tim's
like
dope.
That old like boom bap with a message. I love that shit, dude.
Tim's dope and
come in swinging. Yeah, kind of sound. You know what I mean? His shit's cool.
There's a lot of
very J. Cole in his shit.
There's a lot of talented artists.
Very naughty
in the local scene, and we're doing our best to give them a platform and to highlight them and just to show off the city, that there's more to the city than just,
like the bar scene and the cover bands.
The bar
and stuff.
scene and the just
there's other musical creatives happening.
Right.
In this town.
There's a lot of talented people, and it's not, you don't have to go to, an Atlanta or a New Orleans or a Miami or something like that in order to get
First off, motherfucker.
Talented artist.
Mobile was popping long before New Orleans was, okay?
I agree, but well, you know
Mardi
what?
Gras. I mean, there were titties and beads in Mobile before there were in New Orleans. Am I right? Is my history correct?
Yes.
Didn't Mardi Gras start in Mobile?
I don't know if titties and beads came with the first Mardi Gras, but there was that Mardi Gras was in Mobile before it was in New Orleans.
I didn't think about that.
But there may have been titties and beads. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny.
I don't know
the historical accuracy of that timeline of where the titties started coming out for the beads.
Okay.
Who's the first person to show titties and get beads, and then it just
is one of Joe Kane's bitches.
Probably, actually. Yeah. And Joe Kane that's only a Mobile thing.
Yes.
They don't do Joe Kane in New Orleans, but no. Joe Kane is the one who brought, yeah. So probably.
It's probably Samantha, the one that he didn't want to bring, but he was like,
you know their names.
I don't know. But
there was definitely one named Samantha.
Yeah, probably. There was a hoe named Samantha.
There's definitely one named Tiffany.
Yeah. That's my mom's name.
No, that is not what I meant.
Sorry, my mom doesn't watch this podcast. I told my mom and my grandma, I said, you can't watch my podcast. And she goes, why? And I was like, okay, then watch an episode. And she goes, it's like that? I said, yeah, it's like that. And she's like, okay, noted. Thanks, son. But next time we shoot here, we should shoot outside.
Oh yeah, no.
I'll flip the couch around so the pasture will be in the background.
Word. Once we have the wireless mics, I think we'll be able to go a lot more places. Mm-hmm. Have a lot more activities. We'll have a lot more room for activities.
And the receiving monitor plugs like right in, and it's got a little Velcro arm, so it can sit right on the tripod.
Dope.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking pumped for that. What is it?
She likes it. She likes the idea. She's listening intently. And she's like, let's go outside. Let's do it.
Right?
Let's do it.
All right. Did you want to wrap this one up?
Yeah, I think it's about time for that.
Okay. All right, man. Well, like and subscribe, share, show your friends, and
we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.